comes back to the state of Maharashtra, and in the city of Pune, he starts his village. And if you go to Pune, on his tomb, on his commune, it is mentioned, "Oh soul, never born, never died, but visited the earth from the 11th of December 1931 to the 19th of January 1990. They forgot to mention on the tomb that he was not granted visas to 21 different countries of the world. Imagine Almighty God requiring visas to travel to different countries of the world. And the Archbishop of Greece said that if you do not throw Rajneesh out of the country, we shall burn his house as well as the house of the disciples. And the last test is so stringent that it does not befit anyone but the true Almighty God. The moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He is not God. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing like unto Him. We know Bhagwan Rajneesh, he had 2 eyes, a nose, 2 ears and a mouth. He had a white beard and he wore a white robe. The moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He is not God. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. For example, if someone says that Almighty God, He is 1,000 times stronger than Arnold Schwarzenegger. You might have heard the person Arnold Schwarzenegger, the person who won the title, Mr. Universe, the strongest man in the world, the strongest man in the universe. The moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He is not God. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And there is nothing like unto Him. Whether it be Bhagwan Rajneesh, or whether it be King Kong, or whether it be Dara Singh, the moment you can compare God to anything in this world, He is not God. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. So this Surah Ikhlas, chapter number 112, it is the touchstone of theology. I would request the brothers and sisters out here that the God which you're worshipping, put him to the test of Surah Ikhlas. And if he passes the test, then the God which you're worshipping is the true God. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Isra, chapter number 17, verse number 110. قُلِ ذُو اللَّهِ أَوِذُ الرَّحْمَنِ أَيَّمَّا تَدْعُوا فَلَهُ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى. Say, call upon him by Allah or call him by Rahman. By whichever name you call him, to him belong the most beautiful names. And there are no less than 99 different names given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, most gracious, most merciful, Al-Hakim, most wise. But the crowning one is Allah. Why do we Muslims prefer calling Allah with the Arabic word Allah instead of the English word God? Because a person can play mischief with the English word God. For example, if we add S to God, so it becomes gods, that is the plural of God. There is nothing like the plural of Allah. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say He is Allah, the one and only. If we add DESS to God, so it becomes goddess, that is female God. There is nothing like female Allah or male Allah in Islam. If we add mother to God, so it becomes God mother. There is nothing like Allah mother or Allah ammi in Islam. If we add father to God, so it becomes Godfather. He is my Godfather. He is my guardian. There is nothing like Allah Father or Allah Abba in Islam. If we prefix tin to God, so it becomes tin God, that is a fake God. There is nothing like tin Allah or fake Allah in Islam. That is the reason we Muslims prefer calling Allah with the Arabic word Allah instead of the English word God. And many human beings, they say that if Almighty God, He can do anything and everything, then why can't He become a human being? If Almighty God becomes a human being, then He ceases to be God. Because the qualities of Almighty God and human beings, they are opposite. Human beings, we are mortal. Almighty God is immortal. You cannot have a mortal and immortal person at the same time. Human beings, we've got a beginning. Almighty God, He's got no beginning. You cannot have a person with a beginning and no beginning at the same time. Human beings, we've got an end. Almighty God, He's got no end. You cannot have a person with an end and no end at the same time. It's meaningless. It's like you telling me, I saw a tall, short man. Either you can see a tall man, or a short man, or a medium man. We human beings, we require to eat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 14, وَهُوَ يُطْعِمُ وَلَا يُطْعَمُ. And He feeds, but He is not fed. We human beings, we require to sleep, we require to rest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 255, the Ayat al-Kursi. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum, la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. Allah, there is no God besides Him. No slumber can seize Him, nor is He required to sleep. We human beings, we require to sleep, we require to rest. And if we go a step further, that if Almighty God can do anything and everything, then Almighty God, He can even tell a lie, He can even make a mistake. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Taha, chapter number 20, verse number 52, Allah, He never forgets. La yudhillu rabbi wa la yansa. Allah, He never forgets. And if you go a step further, then Almighty God, He can even do injustice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the glorious Quran, in Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 40, Inna Allah la yadhlimu misqala dharrah. Allah does not commit injustice even in the least bit. So, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes a human being, then He will cease to be God. Therefore, nowhere in the glorious Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He can do anything and everything. What does He say? Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. For verily, Allah has power over all things. In several places, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 106, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 109, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 284, in Surah Al Imran, chapter number 3, verse number 29, in Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 77, and in Surah Fatir, chapter number 35, verse number 1. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. For verily, Allah hath power over all things. There are many religions. Most of the religions, except for Islam, they directly or indirectly believe in the philosophy of anthropomorphism. That is, Almighty God, He becomes a human being. And they give a very good logic. They say that, Almighty God, He's so pure, He's so holy, He does not know the shortcomings of human being. So He has to become a human being to know what's good and bad for the human being. On the face of it, it's a very good logic. But for example, if I manufacture a DVD player, I do not have to become a DVD player to know what's good and bad for the DVD player. What do? I write an instructional manual. If you want to play the disc, put the disc in and press the play button. If you want to do fast forward, press the FF button. Don't drop it from a height, it will get damaged. Don't immerse it in water, it will get spoiled. I write an instructional manual. I do not have to become a DVD player to know what's good and bad for the DVD player. Therefore, Almighty God need not become a human being. He writes an instructional manual. Therefore, the last and final instructional manual for us human beings, it is the glorious Quran. The do's and don'ts are mentioned. So He reveals an instructional manual and He chooses a man amongst men and communicates with him at a higher level through the form of a revelation. So Almighty God need not become a human being. Islam, besides catering to the spiritual aspects, it caters to how a man should lead a life. All the religions, they tell that robbing is bad, raping is bad, molesting a woman is bad. Islam says that, Judaism says that, Christianity says that. So what's the difference? Islam, besides telling that all these acts are bad, it shows a state where all these acts will not be. For example, let's take robbing.